So this is a test run. A test run because I hate this whole virtual visual thing. So we're going to do a little test to see how this works out, to see if I'm going to be able to maneuver in such spaces. So welcome Brave Hearts and Coach CoachMaddHatter's. It's Saturday, and with me being a Capricorn sun, it is my day. Saturn's energy is making it do what it do. So we'll roll with this and see what happens. Huh? Yes? See what happens. Okay, so this morning I got up. Let me slow down. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Before I got up, when I awoken to my conscious mind, eyes still closed, the song from The Wiz, Home, was playing in my head, full blast. Full blast. It made me, where are we? It made me, yeah, I had to take out my CD. One of the things about my journey, my labyrinth into the unknown, into into my love, has a lot to do with me being the life path number 7, which means the seeker. I am always seeking something. I'm always investigating something, researching something in light of my development, my own personal development with self. Up until this point, one of the reasons why I had decided to black out all of my videos is because I wanted it more to serve as an audio from the within. Because usually we absorb better. The human psyche can absorb better when the physical eyes, the naked eyes, are closed, so that that first eye can blossom and begin to see things in a more clearer light. But having a conversation with my best friend, he, as humble as he is, his son is Jupiter, and he's like, you know what would be nice, T, if I could see you. Now, I'm going to tell you how stubborn I am, because he said this maybe like 2 months ago. So here we are. Okay, here we are, family. Here we are. 11:11. So yes, we truly are. We're now inside the portal. I'm seeing my lip gloss is like all over. Oh no, that's my shea butter. Skin is See, this whole visual. You be looking at yourself like it's totally a fucking distraction. And I don't even have no makeup and all that shit on. Like, it's totally a distraction. Okay, let's bring it back. So, so we gotta look at it like this. Okay, so home. So that's number 8, right? But as the morning went on, number 1, he's the wizard. And number 2, you can't win. And number 7, a brand new day. And one of my favorites, I'm just going to throw in here just because, is number 4, Slide Some Oil to Me. I love Nipsey. Nipsey is my honey for life. So those are my most favorite selections from this piece. The entire movie, it's my heart. And so to engage in this movement that is building momentum that we are calling Coach by Story, has a lot to do with one finding themselves within the narrative for self-scholarship. That's what it's all about. self-scholarship. We came into this realm encased in embodiment to experience certain things for the likes of the celestial power that is within and without, right? With that being said, anytime that I record something and upload it into the public domain, it is truly my contribution for those that are upon their journey with self. That's what all that I do. That's what it's all about. And so with that song playing in my head, was an indication that I needed to get up here and just share a little of my time and space with you. Um, Specifically in the realm of the last 12 hours or so, right? Before I fell off to sleep, or um, what I like to say, went out of consciousness and into my subconscious, and it started to realm hop, hop a few dimensions. I was so frustrated with some of the more major details of my own existence. My Timet Nos, which is to know thyself, my intimate, very unique, very own experience as a human being has ushered in some of the most weirdest components and some of the, I would say, incredible, remarkable, still weird, but just remarkable, just remarkable instances that have also doubled as lessons and interpretation, and being able for, serving for me to be able to further my investigation with this thing called life, with this thing called human life, inside of the mundane, the 3D. Because for a long time, I didn't want to be here. And the question of, why the fuck am I here? What did I come here for? The answer was always uh, coming in bits and pieces. It always seemed like the answer came in the likes of a puzzle. Always trying to figure this shit out. So, because of that, especially with me being who I am, always bumping my head up against the fucking wall. Telling you, you learn some lessons when you in the midst of that hard knock life. I really think that those are the scholars and the professors and the PhDs and those are the ones that I relate to. Those that's on their Peter Pan thing, you know? Yes. Those that are on their Dorothy, their Scarecrow, their Tin Man, their courage within their lioness. Yeah, those walking those labyrinths. Those are the ones that I identify with. Hence the reason the CoachMaddHatter's Underland University and Radio was birthed. It was birthed for the Alices that go tumbling down into Wonderland, not having a clue. On the phone with one of my really good friends from high school, hadn't spoken to her since high school. And I'm not ashamed of age. We're damn near 50. And so to speak to her and hear her voice the other day it was such an immaculate conversation. But I asked her, because she's also on this activated road to become more in tune with self, her own individual template of why she came here, why she decided to be inside this realm during this time, in this space, in this flesh, right? Also being challenged with the contemplation of, what did I come here for? Why am I here? What am I here for? There's no way in the world you're going to tell me that I must get up every day, no matter what's going on, and stand in this ultra positivity when that ain't the way I feel. And there's no way you're going to tell me each and every day that I must think a certain way and ignore the way I feel when that ain't the way it is. It's not the way it is. And so with this new ushering of what is mainstreamly being called a new wave of the divine feminine, and don't get me wrong, I agree, but because we are such topical, superficial types of beings, we still worry about the status quo and the social stratas and all of the conditioning that's been piled generation upon generation upon generation. We sometimes neglect to go deeper into what's really being said to us. So, with that said, the new ushering in of this immaculate energy that's now being called divine feminine energy, which is, okay, so how can I, without being too complicated with it, for so long, we lived under what's considered male dominance, okay? Male dominance. And the female perspective, the matriarchy of how things are done, the matriarchal power, let's say that, the power that is deemed from that which is feminine had been stifled and shunned and pretty much like told, relayed as evil, dark. Let's leave it there, because nothing else is coming to mind right now. But let's leave it there. So anything that had one deal with their shadow side, or had one deal with that which is deep within, down from the rooter to the tutor. Okay, from the rooter to the tutor. And like Bobby Hemming say, let's not be funny with this shit. Got to get down with it, right? That it's been tragically ignored. And we are not speaking in gender specificity. Is that a word? I love that word for some reason. I've never checked to see if it was a real word or not. But the gender specifics, we get caught and entangled in all of that shit. We ain't talking about that. We're talking pure, keen, intrinsical energy. And the source by which it springs forth. That's what we're talking about. And as I've said in, I want to say at least one or two other recordings, we have both energies that dwell within us. And when you're on that labyrinth of life, getting to know oneself, you will come across the injunctions of both. There are some times and some cycles and some phases, some seasons where one energy is more prominent than the other, but feminine and masculine energy dwells within every human being that sets forth within this realm. With that said, I'm going to get myself together, because like I said, this was a little task This was a little test for me to be able to feel if I was going to be able to do this or not, right? But I think because I have my love with me, got my cup of coffee, we got our music for the day, I think I'm a little comfortable with being able to unpack some things. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break this. We're going to break, which will give you time, if you like, because when we go in, we're going to go in. I'm going to unpack some things relating to my birth chart, my natal chart, because I am a novice astrologer. I will not be speaking anything of superficiality, celebrityism. I am a Saturn in Gemini for those who understand the language. And if you don't understand the language, but you want to become a little bit more fluent in this particular love language, hang out, right? So it's Saturday, it's August, Washington, D.C., life is good. The birds are chirping. I don't know if you can hear, but the birds are chirping because my daddy feed the birds. Yes, yes, I am a grown-ass woman in my daddy's house. Lord, have mercy on my soul. Because what Jill Scott say? You are not going to make me feel shame for being me. Okay? We all have our cycles and our seasons for why things happen. And for one to understand the details of one's birth chart would give you a lot more insight to what's going on with you and why. So, last night, before I went to bed, I was so pissed off. I'm like, what's going on with this? Right? Almost 50. Why am I here experiencing this? Yes, we are the sum of our choices, but we're also the sum of the collective energy that surrounds us, that triggers us, that corresponds with us, that provokes us, that hinders us. The more and more I got into my Saturn being in Gemini, my Black Lilith being in Libra, as well as my overall Capricorn Sun, Virgo Moon, Virgo Rising, Virgo Ascending, there were certain things that I had to go through. There were certain things that were timed, of a very divine, timed nature. That was for my own good so that I may sit before you and be able to explain it to you firsthand. And because I truly in my heart believe that nothing goes without reason and technicality and offering up or the contribution of the greater good, nothing is to be wasted. I'm a timekeeper, for Pete's sake. Saturn sent me here to acknowledge certain things with regards to this time and space. So with that said, in my agitation, before I closed my eyes, I was pissed off, honestly, with Saturn and Mercury. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What are we doing here? Like, things must turn. Seasons must turn. I officially, as me being who I am, came out of a 7-year cycle on July 31st at the black moon, at the super moon, calculated to the exact day. And so anyone who knows anything about Black Lilith being in Libra and how the energy was either ushering in a new chapter, not even either. We're in the power of and. So what it was actually doing for me personally was closing one volume and opening up another, right? So Sometimes. Sometimes I tussle with impatientness. Not often though, but sometimes I do. I tussle with it. And so, with me researching the energies and understanding what was specifically going on with me, when July 31st came August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, I want to say around the 5th, I was waiting for like this true newness to like meet and greet me. I'm like, hold up. Even with me knowing it's still gonna take some time because you have to allow like certain energies to disperse, certain shadow, certain things that were going on with certain planets, with Mercury's retrograde, the shadow part of the retrograde, and me knowing all of this, I still was like, what gives, right? So come last night, I was at my wits' end. I was like, okay, um, it feels like I have due diligently stood my ground for the last 7 years. I really truly have been nose to the grind, sacrificed all types of social life and interaction for this scholarship, for this self-bound scholarship. Everything was put on hold to the point where self-inflicted poverty is now having those around me question my psychological uh, balance, for the lack of a better term. Like, yeah, what's the deal with you for real? What's going on? And those that don't speak in the realm of creativity or production, intimate production, and especially that self research and development, and how it really can send you into spaces that will have you contemplating your exit out of here with, outside of normal circumstances. Like, okay, it's time to get the fuck up out of here. No longer do I want to be in this human body, dealing with these human circumstances, trying to be keeping up with these status quos and adhering to the lawlessness of this era's social stratus. Like, yeah, just done with the whole fucking thing. Like, okay, done with this shit. So I literally, like, I posed it to Saturn and Mercury. Like, guess what? I'm about to piece about this bitch. I don't want to do this no more. So I'm going to need you to appeal to me and let me know what's good. So when we return for part 2 of this, or really part 1, because this was kind of like the prologue. So when we return, we're going to unpack some things. And I am going to share with you quite a bit of notes. And also, we're going to name this coffee and what did I say we were going to call it? We're going to name it coffee and comfy sofa topics, tools, and techniques. That's what we're going to name this little series. It might be prologue part 1 and 2, maybe, not sure yet. But I am dedicated to sharing all that transpired in the last 12 hours. This is the storyline and the soundtrack, specifically the selections that I named earlier. So if you do have it, go and use the break, use the intermission to visit with the selections, especially track 1 and track 8, because that's the portal. We're going inside. And so like I was saying, with my conversation with my girlfriend, I asked her, what if Alice was prepared to tumble down the rabbit hole? What if she was prepared? What if she had backpack, notebook, journal, highlighters? What if she was prepared? She had her lunch pack. She had her Timbs on. Yeah. What if she was prepared to tumble down the rabbit hole? What if she was prepared? What if she was looking forward to meeting the Mad Hatter? How about it? So, I'm going to wrap it up with this. The song playing, blasting in my inner ears when I returned to this consciousness this morning reminded me that I am still in the midst of having a human experience. I'm here because I signed up for this shit. Still don't know all the answers. And I know you know this. If you have stuck with this long, you know, you feel me. You know that you're here for some reason. Some reason you decided to encase yourself in this lowly ass flesh so that you could experience something, so that your connection to your Akashic records could be populated with first-hand knowledge that goes from the head to the heart. You are here for a reason. And it's not to be all good. Come on, this is the third dimension for Pete's sake. We really do get sold on this whole like ultra positivity shit only because it is so wretched down this bitch. But those that can hear will hear. Those that feel me will love. And they will take into account all that they experience, and they will send it forward so that their celestial body will not have encased in the physical body for nothing. They are getting a clue. We are getting a clue. We getting a clue. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm just looking at the time. So we are in the 27-minute gateway. And yeah, so that's what I meant to say. Yeah, so in this intermission, go get your journal, something to write with. I usually say pencils because erasing is, it comes more natural. Also, get your calendar, because we're going to talk about some dates. I'm Saturn's son. I'm time bound. We're going to talk about some dates and get you into the awareness, if you already are not, to your own timekeeping, and what it means to you, and what's going on with your cycles and your seasons. So I'm going to talk about mine, and hopefully it will serve as an example to propel you into yours if you're not already. So stay tuned, folks, and I do wish you well.